Good evening, everybody. It's an absolute honor for me to be here amongst all of you today evening. And that was such an inspiring talk from my dear friend Manu. And I have to say that, Manu, every time I listen to you, every time I'm inspired. The last time we had him with us at our leadership conversations that we have at SAP in Bangalore. I mean, we have it in the other locations as well, but every time, absolute thrill to listen to you and all the cool things that all of you are doing at Mercedes and also together with our partnership. So I'm standing here in both my roles, right? As both in my role as heading up SAP here in India, particularly the R&D for SAP. Also in my global role as heading up customer innovation services, where we work with customers like Mercedes, but also Continental, partners like Accenture, and many more. But most importantly, also in my role as chairperson at NASSCOM. So I'll also keep stepping between all of these roles. But maybe first things first, to Manu's point, what he said, I'd also like to kind of reflect a little bit in my SAP role and then kind of extrapolate it to what's happening in the world of GCCs and kind of how things are moving forward, right? Today, 87% of the world's business transactions touches an SAP system. But the fun part today here in India, what I'm really always thrilled to share is 60% of India's GDP touches an SAP system, right? To your point on Rajesh on the market and kind of I will only be convinced if we look at the revenue. 70% of corporate taxes in India goes through an SAP system. And talking about cars, Manu, I think it must be equally exciting to note that 8 out of the 10 cars that run on Indian roads are manufactured by SAP's customers, just to talk about the market potential that exists, right? And again, what I'm very thrilled and what I will touch upon when we talk about GCCs at large in India is the fact that today, India is the only location of SAP where we have the entire breadth of our product portfolio in one location. And you might say, hey, yeah, but we have this wonderful label of, what do we call it? The back office of the world, right? Forget all that. We're talking about quarter of the patents that come out of SAP globally come out of India. That is what we are proud of, right? And that is the change that we are going to talk about today to kind of allude to also the change that's happening amongst the GCCs in India. And today, if you just look at the pace at which things are changing, of course, there's no doubt that the GCCs in India are absolutely shedding this label of being the back office of the world. Right? Today, GCCs of India are, and 44% of the GCCs, today we are close to 3,000 GCCs here in India, and 44% of the GCCs in India are talking about being very high on that maturity curve, where we are talking about leading with innovation, leading with that product leadership, leading with that portfolio coverage, leading with product leadership, leading for decision-making from India for the world, right? So that's the change, Sujit, that we want you to talk about in kinds of the transformation that's happening in the GCCs of the world. Now, Manu and also Rajesh, you talked about the pace at which technology is evolving, right? I mean, particularly in the era of AI and I think when we all saw the launch of DeepSeek and all of that happened, I think one thing that consistently all of us face is that the pace at which technologies are also changing and the pace at which we need to also adapt to that, the pace at which technologies are evolving, changing. Our understanding and our boundary conditions that we put around some of the technologies are also changing overnight many times, right? So very importantly, when we look at this whole notion of how are we shaping and getting the talent, because I'm going to touch a little bit more on talent and having the future of the workforce when we talk about talent, it's very clear also that when we talk about GCC-ready talent, we have to look at a talent which is very much depth-driven, skill-driven, right? We have to also look at talent which is taking on that leadership role of owning, leading, shaping, market making, being able to also pitch and shape and to the various stakeholders that you would engage with within your product life cycle, right? Because it's not just about working within your R&D team, shaping the backlog, prioritizing the backlog. How do you imagine how the product will be consumed by your multitude of users out there? But it's also about how do you take it to market? How do you commercialize it? How do you make sure that it has the staying power of a product, and how do you scale the product to not just one country but multiple countries? How do you localize it for the very specific needs of individual countries, right? So this is kind of the product thinking, and Rajesh said something that Sindhu is very passionate about, indeed so, and this is also something which we truly believe is kind of the skills of the future that we will need, right? Now, if I just look a little bit on, and just some numbers always help, and Sujit is always a fan of numbers. Whenever I talk to him, he's always asking about concrete numbers. If you just look at the numbers on the slide, like I said, right, today India is already home to close to 3,000 GCCs. Close to 44% of those GCCs are very high on that maturity index, like I said, where they're building innovations from India for the world, where they have product leaders from India like Manu for the world, right, who are building and owning big parts of the product portfolio, where we're also looking at how do we shape and take very specific parts of the portfolio to the global markets that we serve. And what is also equally exciting to note is many of these GCCs, as you can see here, are now focused on how do we have that AI-led transformation in the workforce, because today already you have over 120,000 AI professionals who are also backed by over 180 plus COEs, AI COEs, who help kind of drive forward that AI transformation in those GCCs, right? And what we're also seeing in all of this is the kind of work that is happening within all of these GCCs. If I put on my SAP hat again, if you just think of when we say we talk to the enterprise, we have something called as Joule for the enterprise, where you actually talk to Joule, and in natural language processing, you would kind of look at, hey, where is my supply chain, or where is my order stuck, or what happened to my lead that originated in this particular region, or look at processes like end-to-end processes like lead to cash or total workforce management. We have Joule, which is kind of our enterprise co-pilot, where you're able to talk to the enterprise. And that, the complete development, or almost close to 80% of that innovation for Joule, is happening from India for the world, right? To just put things into perspective of how, when we talk about these global roles happening at GCCs, and we're taking innovations like Joule for the whole world and for our customers, and we're working with our customers in co-innovation mode. Many of you here in the room are also our customers, where you've come in, you've given feedback of how Joule needs to work for your specific business, for your specific industry. So that kind of co-innovation with the ecosystem is also happening in India, right? So representing that 44% of the GCCs that I'm talking about. Now, in order for this to happen, I think there is also a significant shift that has happened in the thinking, right? When I say the GCCs of India are shedding the back office label, this has also been kind of a transition, right? I mean, and you're absolutely right, Rajesh. You started off, there was a cost element, but now, I mean, for some of our top experts, I mean, there is no discussion, right, on whether it's what is your compensation or anything like that. I mean, it's as good as anybody sitting anywhere in the world, depending on the kind of part of the portfolio and what you bring to the table. And that shift is also a shift that has happened, where you're not just talking about what is the task to be completed or what is the code that needs to be written, but really looking at systems, like really looking at what does it mean from a product thinking, from end-to-end ownership of the product. So that thinking is something that has been nurtured and invested over a period of time. And it's not that something that also stops, right? And one point that I'll make very clearly here is also this early intervention for our talent, because we want to continue growing as GCCs. You'll see the number on the next slide. But this is something that, when in the India context, needs to happen in a much more consistent, much more structured, much more scalable manner. Because the trust that we have earned, it's all happened. I mean, you see that in the numbers, the trust is already there. But scale alone will not pull it off if you're talking about the maturity curve that all of us, not just 44%, but everybody needs to achieve. And this is where the structured intervention, when we, very early on in the talent life cycle, needs to happen. And that structured intervention needs to be focused on areas like, how do we look at areas of looking at IP creation, or academic research, where we do co-research with academia, and structured and much more strategic interventions where the industry and academia work hand in hand with each other and it's not like you do it once and then you step out, right? It has to consistently happen, because like I said, technologies are changing fast. Our talent is young. Every year we have phenomenal talent coming out of universities. But to bring in that thought process of, how do I create for the world? How do I look at end to end? How do I scale? How do I make sure that I protect my IP? How do I take products to market? How do I scale once I have my product out? How do I make sure that it's an AI-driven thinking that I have? This needs to be nurtured, and this is something that we definitely need to scale across the country. And if I just also look at what's happening future forward, also the market, right, for GCCs continues to grow. Like Rajesh said, this is, I mean, today what GCC in India takes about less than 3 months to even set up, right? And what you're also seeing is consistent sharing of best practices, learning from each other, and not just saying, hey, the ones who are already there up on the maturity curve stays there and continues, but we need to get everyone together to really make that label of product nation successful, and these numbers also successful. I mean, you can see the number of GCCs by end of 2030, we are talking about over close to 4,000 GCCs that we will have, right? And hiring over 2.8 million AI professionals as well, which is phenomenal numbers. And here again, I will rest my point, right? I mean, if you're thinking about building from India for the world, it's not just about a scale game, and it's not just about the number game. It's really going to be about IP creation. And if I just look at the numbers, we can be proud, but we want to get even more prouder, right? Just last year, Sangeeta, I think we had close to 90,000 IP submissions that we had as India. And if I just look at the numbers, even back from on AI-related patents, right, we have over 80,000 since 2010, which are great numbers. But I think for the scale at which all of us are operating, I think we want to see even more IP creation from India, right? And that's something we at NASSCOM, we are absolutely focused on. Also the whole program when it comes to IP enablement program at NASSCOM is an excellent way in which we nurture the talent to also think about building IP, or the Startup Accelerator program at NASSCOM are again where we build that entrepreneurial mindset within the talent to really own. And even if you're as part of a GCC, you own parts of the portfolio, right? And you think of owning that portfolio just like you would run your own startup, right? You own the budgets, you own the priority, you own the stakeholder conversations, you own the go-to-market, all of that. And that is an important element which we will continue to build as NASSCOM within the ecosystem. And I think that is something that we need to really put all of our minds together if we really want to have that label of a product nation strongly underlined, right? So yeah, as I close, I can only say that we all want to, and events like this are perfect examples how we come together, look at also critically, but also positively about the things that have been accomplished, but we want to continue to keep the charter very high and continue to build those partnerships and continue to build the talent of the future, like I said, where also that strong thinking when it comes to product first is something that we want to continue imbibe. So yeah, with that, I hope I've given you a little bit of nuggets to ponder about, and a few things also in both of my roles. And we'll continue to hear from the other leaders on how they are seeing this whole space evolve. With that, thank you so much.